So 56% of the federal budget. Now, if you were to take all of the personal income taxes out, that's 30%. And if you were to take all of the unauthorized expenditures out, that's 56%. You can pay off a national debt without an income tax. Now, let me tell you why I'm talking about this so much. One, my objective is not just to stop an illegal application of the income tax to working households. Stop and think for a minute what goes out of your household for federal income taxes. What if only half of that stayed in your household? That would make a huge difference in your standard of living, because that's all disposable. That's all above the subsistence. You've already paid the rent, or you wouldn't have been able to pay it without that money. You already paid for your groceries. Now we're talking about whether Junior goes to the college he wants to or has to go to trade school. Now we're talking about whether Sissy gets to go to acting college at Juilliard, or whether she has to, or wherever they send those people. He would know, he's a California kind of guy. But these will make the difference between living fairly and living well. Your household, your family would be a lot better off. Let's put the other half. Let's just ship it over to the state for a second. Now, if the state of Louisiana had that other half of that money, guess what? What kind of streets should you have? They can come in your house and carry your garbage out for you. What are you talking about, your garbage pickup? What kind of schools could you have for that? What kind of libraries, if they had that money? Now, what are they doing now? What are they doing now? And who would they have to think for it if you gave it to them? Us, right. Who do they think for their money now? Who's their daddy? They have to beg money back from the federal government because it sucked all oxygen out of the room. It's left you guys with nothing but subsistence. We get by because we don't have that disposable income we earn with our human capital. We're getting all the way down. Now you turn around, now our state legislatures have got to pass laws as dictated by a bureaucrat sitting in a cubicle in the bowels of some government building in Washington, D.C., who's writing conditions for grants. That's who our legislature represents right now. So are you being taxed with representation in your state? Your federal government, those guys are Republicans or Democrats? Republicrats. They swore allegiance to a party, in effect, and when the party interest says this, and the government, or the country's interest says this, guess who loses? Are you getting representation in Congress? No, sir. The party gets it. The party, I call them cabals. Now, let's talk party for a second. Party time. You mentioned George Washington and his farewell address and his warning about foreign entanglements. He also had another warning, didn't he? Partisan politics. And the reason for it is a good reason. How many masters can we serve? One. And, you know, whenever you have got to serve your party, and you're supposed to serve the people that elected you, you're going to dance for the one that brung you, and the party's the one that puts money up there to get them to elect you. Who's his daddy? You? Now, you take, so now we're talking about starting a Constitution party. Parties are bad, but they're real things and they're unavoidable. Man is associated with other men for mutual benefit since the time of the caveman. It's part of our nature. We are a pack animal. And sometimes I'm ashamed to say we're a herd animal. Sheeple. But we're social animals. You're not going to avoid associations for mutual benefit. So all you can do is try to keep it as honest as you can. Your Constitution party, if it seizes power, I'm going to make a prediction, if it succeeds and seizes power 50 years later, it will be just as mindless, just as heartless, just as soulless as the Republican and Democratic Party. Because once power takes over, then the party starts to govern the members instead of the members and their purposes. Both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party were started for noble causes. Both parties were started because they thought that that was the best thing for their country. But look at where they are now. The Republican Party was a progressive, left-wing party. The Democrat Party was a conservative, traditional values party. Now, lawyers can switch sides because we don't have a soul, right? Well, they switch sides, so what does that mean? Did they really believe in what their principles are today because they didn't believe it the other day? Now they've switched sides. The Republican is kind of like Al Gore. Remember when he made that stupid speech? Everything that's supposed to be up is down. Everything that's supposed to be down is up. Well, everybody that was supposed to be left is right. Everybody was on the right, down there on the left. I don't believe either one of them. They're both liars. They're both heartless. The mob effect. The group, the association, is driving the group, not the group. Only difference between a lynch mob and a prayer meeting is who's running the show. So what I wanted to point out, this is where I'm getting a little choppy on you here, is that you've got to stop and look at the game that you're actually playing. Somebody mentioned a while back fielding candidates to draw all votes. It was in here somewhere. Somebody else says, well, that just doesn't seem right. Right and wrong have nothing to do with politics.
No.
I had a man tell me 30 years ago, he was a Democrat hatchet man. I became a Republican hatchet man. I was chairman of the party in Northwest Louisiana for almost 3 years. Did good, too. Till I got far enough up and past the grassroots. I was dealing with the White House about once a week, twice a week. They thought it was funny whenever they said, I didn't realize there were so many Republicans in Louisiana. I said, they only got 5 Democrats in Louisiana. I said, what? I said, yeah, only 5 real Democrats in Louisiana. All the rest of them are rented. When the rent check stopped, they'll be Republicans the next day. And that's the truth. You gotta, where's my piece of this pie that you're down there collecting for us? Where's my entitlement? What do I get out of it? Where are my privileges? Don't I get any privileges? I'm a white male, Christian, believer, heterosexual, smoker, non-Chinese, non-Hispanic. The only way I can advance myself is to either turn gay or quit smoking. I won't do one, I can't do the other. I'm stuck. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. But what we got to do here is start thinking about the game that you are in. You cannot change the rules of the game. Now, you made some very, very smart statements a while ago. And that's why I said I have to change up a little bit about what I'm saying. One of the things that you said was talking about getting this party moving, getting it out there, get it on it takes action. It takes more than talking. We can talk all day long here, and nothing outside that room is going to change. It's going to take action. You got to start thinking smart. Look at what your assets are. Your assets are is that you're driven. Your assets are you're motivated. And your assets are that God justice is on your side, because the restoration of the republic is God's mission. I believe that. And that's why I work so hard to do it. And I'm scared to death that what we're going to see is somebody else said something about the Libertarian Party or some other group that wanted to get rid of the government structure, dismantle it. That scares me worse. Because I don't think we've got what it takes to replace the Constitution with anything half as good. And we're talking about, others are talking about armed rebellion. It's time to reactivate the militias. That scares me too. Not just because of the blood, but because of the fact that we'll lose it. Now I promised, what are your liabilities? Your liabilities are that you're few in number. So what do? How do you eat an elephant?
Piece at a time.
One spoon at a time, that's right. If you have small numbers, but highly motivated people, start with small tasks.